I am gone at jury duty today. And you have to do a few things. And one of the things that you need to get accomplished today is your candidate needs to do a practice version of his or her stump speech. And these are the requirements for that stump speech. The stump speech must be at least 1.5 minutes long, but no longer than 3.5 minutes. If it's longer than that, I'm going to dock you dollars, campaign dollars. Okay. Secondly, the candidate must introduce themselves. They must introduce their party name, and they must introduce who their vice presidential candidate is. Okay. And then in the speech, they have to mention one point from each of the platform planks. Okay, the platform planks are things that are in your platform. Let me show you an example. Like on Dawson's, you guys created this platform. The platform planks are each of these headings. So something the candidate must mention from each of their own platform planks. One thing from each of these. Okay, that's one of the requirements. Okay, they also need to talk about one issue and one issue only that is on each of their opponents' platforms, things that they could compare. So it could be, I want to give you a heated parking lot. My opponent, however, would, and then explain something that the opponent has in their platform. Something essentially negative or putting down or kind of pointing out a weakness in the other party's platform. Okay? This is what the candidate needs to do. So here's what's going to happen today. The candidate is going to come up and give their speech, a practice version of the speech. It's supposed to be done by today so they can read it and so on. You need to do, the rest of the class needs to pay attention to this, and you need to critique it. So when the candidate is done, you need to critique things like delivery. You know, did the candidate look down too much? Did they speak clearly? Did they stutter or say a lot or things like that? Secondly, you need to critique the content of the speech. Was it good? Did it include all the things that it was supposed to include? Did parts of it ramble on? Also, a little bit more with the delivery is what were the emotions? Did the candidate come across in a positive way? All right, so then you need to critique it. Give the candidate some ideas, some of your suggestions. Candidate can write those down, and tomorrow or Monday, depending on which day I'm back, the candidate will give another version of the speech, but this will be a final version that we will record, and then that will be played to the team classes. When the candidate gives their speech, when we record it, you can have a backdrop, but you guys can decide today what kind of backdrop you will have. We're going to do it in this room. And then that needs to be determined, and then you need to get those things. So if you just want to have a flag in the background, we can have a flag in the background. We have a flag in the room. If you want other things, then you have to find those things. And let me give you some examples from past debates or past elections. Let's go to the the spring of 2014, and let's look at. Nope, this is not the one I wanted. Well, we can do this one, though. Let's look at, I don't remember the stump speech, but that's what Derek's background looked like, just so simply a flag back there. Okay? Let's go to a different election. Let's go to the fall of 14 and look at Caitlin Schumacher's stump speech. Notice what she had there. Doesn't it look a little bit more professional? Let me show you a couple more examples. I don't even remember what people had back here. Austin Pulse, his stump speech simply just a flag held. Notice you can see everything in the background there. Again, I don't know how much it makes a difference, but if you're doing this stump speech, doesn't it, not only the content, but maybe the visual here may make a difference. Obviously, the content is very important too. Okay, so when the candidate is done doing the practice version of the speech, you can critique it and also come up with some ideas on what to bring. And that's the stump speech for today.